The Kisii is a community of Bantu people who inhabit two counties, Kisii and Nyamira in Nyanza Province, western Kenya. Gusii is the fond reference to the homeland, and Mogusii is culturally identified as the founder and patriarch. Kisii town, known as Bosongo Getembe by the locals, is located in Nyanza Province to the southwest of Kenya and is home to the Gusii people. The name Bosongo is believed to have originated from Abasongo, who lived in the town during the colonial times. According to the 1979 census, Kisii district had a population of 588,000. The Abasongo increased to 2.2 million in the latest Kenya census 2009. Origins of the Abasongo. The Abasongo, like the Abasongo, claim to have come from areas further north. As these Bantu speakers migrated from the West-Central Africa, they split up into different groups, with the Kisii ending up in Nyanza Province near Lake Victoria. The Kisii ended up in a geographical location unique among Bantu-speaking groups in that they were surrounded on all sides by initially, and later sporadically hostile Nilotic communities of the Luo, Kipsigis, Nandi, and Maasai. Constant sieges resulted in the development of a warlike culture unlike most Bantu communities, to defend against cattle raiding neighboring communities. To this day, they have a reputation of being tough, emotionally labile, resilient, and very industrious. There's strong evidence, however, that periods of peace with neighboring communities must have led to intermarriages and consequent consanguinity. This is evident in the greatly varied complexion and physique between Abasongo from different subregions of Gusii. Some clans of the Suba are said to have been completely absorbed by the Abasongo. The Bantu community with a great many similarities with the Abasongo is the Meru from the windward slopes of Mount Kenya. Although the Kuria share a great deal in common with the Abasongo in language and culture as well, and a history of intermarriage has led to prohibition of marriage alliances for specific clans of the Abasongo with some Kuria clans. The Kipsigis, the highland Nilots bordering the Abasongo on the northern and northeastern frontier, affectionately refer to the Abasongo as Kamama. Indeed, many Kipsigis can easily point to someone in the lineage from Gusii. The Kisii people today. The Kisii are regarded as one of the most economically active communities in Kenya, with rolling tea estates, coffee, and banana groves. However, Kisii district has a very high population density. It is one of the most densely populated areas in Kenya, and the most densely populated rural area. It also has one of the highest fertility and population growth rates in Kenya. In fact, the fertility rate of Kisii ranks among the highest in the world by Wito. These factors have ensured the Kisii to be among the most geographically widespread communities in East Africa. A disproportionately large number of Kisiis have gone abroad in search of education. The Kisii is some of the most heavily represented Kenyans in foreign universities and a few in the United Kingdom. Their lands are currently overpopulated despite the rolling fertile hills, spurring immigration to other cities in Kenya and a substantial representation in the United States, especially in major hub cities like Houston, Atlanta, Jersey City, Dallas, Cleveland, and Minneapolis-St. Paul. The hard cash that flows from the diaspora has spawned significant economic prosperity in a locale lacking in politically motivated hand-me-downs. The Kisii people have as a result moved out of the two counties and can be found virtually in any part of Kenya and beyond. In Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, Eldoret, Kisumu, and many other towns in Kenya, they run most businesses. For example, the Matatu business in Nairobi estates like Utawala, Kawangwa, Dandora, Embakasi, Kitengela, etc. They have bought land and a residence in most of these Kisii Nairobi estates like Utawala, Ruai, Joska, Kamulalu, Kitengela, Rongo, etc. Names like Kaeri, Arasa, Bosongo, Bosaya, Isabok, Majembe, Merora, Makori, Mogika, Mojeni, Momani, Mosati, Motieri, Nyambane, Nyambati, Nyagwachi, Nyanumba, Nyabuti, Obigi, Ochero, Omwenga, Ondari, Ondara, Onchiri, Ongeri, Onkaba, Onsomu, Onioni, Orina, Osby, Ombuna, Otwari, Nyakoni, Bagwasi, Omanwa, Ongori, Nyaki among others are common family names just like Smith and Johnson in the Anglo-Saxon cultures. Female names such as Biaki, Batuta, Mora, Nyanchama, Manchari, Nyabok, Nyatichi, Nyanchera, Nyrambi, Kemunto, Kerubo, Kwambouka, Karibi, Gezere, Biaki, Biwari, Bosabori, Boshaberi, Kemuma Onditi, and others are also common names given to girls. Agriculture and biodiversity in Kisii. In the past, Kisii was a heavily forested area with old indigenous broadleaf rainforest trees and other flora. It was part of the old Congo Basin forests. The only remnant of this old forest in Kenya is the Kakamega Forest, which is the westernmost tip of the equatorial rainforest. The two ancient forest areas were linked through Nandi and Kericho, before the Nandi and Kericho areas were cleared for tea farming and settlement. Now, most of the tree life in Kisii consists of members of 4 tree families, all of them introduced from outside the continent. The most common trees in Kisii are the Eucalyptus spp. Family, Gravelly robusta and black wattle. All these 3 species are native to Australia. Finally, there is the Cupressus spp. Family native to South America. Other plant life forms are cultivated tea, bananas, maize, coffee and napier grass, with very little remaining of indigenous biodiversity. It has been theorized that in future Kisii will increasingly be colonized by the above few species of plants, as there is little awareness or even desire to replant the slow-growing and less economically valuable indigenous plant forms. This is aggravated by land shortage and reduced need for traditional herbal medicine, that has now been surpassed by modern hospitals and medical care. Language. They speak the language of Kisii, or Kisii as it is properly called. However, some older texts refer to this community as Kosovo. This language and other Bantu languages are very similar. Most of the phrases are similar, had been derived or acquired in the same manner. The only difference between these languages is that some words have been altered or differently pronounced and given new meanings. The Meru in Eastern Province are closely related to the Kisii people, or Abasongo, in language and culture. They are markedly similar to the Bakiga of southwestern Uganda in culture, industry and choice of terrain. The Lutoro language of western Uganda shares a great many words with Kisii. For instance, Omwazeki is the Kisii for girl, and the word in Lutoro is just the same save for a slight difference in inflection. Culture. The Gusii play a large bass lyre called obokano. Circumcision of boys at around age of 10 as a rite of passage without anesthesia is common among the Abasongo. This ritual takes place annually in the months of November and December, followed by a period of seclusion during which the boys are led in different activities by older boys, and is a great time of celebration indeed for families and communities at large. Family, friends and neighbors are invited days in advance by candidates to join the family. During this period of seclusion, only older circumcised boys are allowed to visit the secluded initiates, and any other visit could cause a taboo. It's during this period that initiates were taught the roles as young men in the community and the do's and the don'ts of a circumcised man. Some of the notable musicians from the Kisii people include Arizioza Babu, Monyoncho, Sungusha, Riakimai, 91 Jazz, Mbarambumba, Bonyakoni Kirawanda Junior Band, Mr. Ongengo, Deepak Brax, Jiggy, Mr. Bloom, Virasi, Abuji, Brax RNB, Sabi Okangard, Makojwan Jazz among others. Marriage. Among the Abasongo community, traditional marriage was arranged by the parents using intermediaries called Chisigani, who also acted as referees for the bride and groom-to-be. The parents negotiated the dowry and organized a traditional wedding. The traditional wedding ceremony involved a mentor called Omoimari, who could provide continuing support to the newly married couple. Currently, civil and Christian marriages are recognized among the Abasongo. The staple meal is matoke and ugali. It is often served with managu, chinsaga, rikuneni, endirema, agesera among other locally available green leaves consumed as vegetables. It can also be served with any other stew.